Ted Cruz's excuses for going MIA during the Texas flooding are crumbling like the Acropolis, and I have to admit, this is kind of satisfying to watch. Welcome to Occupy Democrats, I'm David Reddish. So, if you've been following the news here on our channel, you know that over the weekend, Kerr County, Texas was hit by terrible rainstorms, which turned into flash flooding. At the time of this report, over 100 people are confirmed dead as search and rescue efforts continue.
Well, the Texas Hill Country now in what is the fifth day of the search, rescue, and recovery effort here. We saw choppers in the air well before the sun came up here, and so it's still a 24-hour process, hoping for a miracle, hoping to find someone in what is debris like you see here. All of this pulled from this home, and the people who were here got out as the mud, as the water rushed in, and now they begin slowly to shift towards some type of cleanup here. And really, when you talk to those on the ground, the survivors, they're quick to tell you there's no one in Kerrville or really even Kerr County that has not been affected by what's happened here.
Bless those poor people. And the hell with Ted Cruz. Stay with me here. Now, if you follow our channel, and you should right now if you don't, you know that there are major questions surrounding the emergency warning system and response to the floods. There's also a question surrounding Senator Ted Cruz, who was confirmed to be on vacation in Greece when the flooding hit. Cruz did not return to the United States until Sunday and did not address the nation until Monday morning. For the record, these storms began on Thursday. In his press conference yesterday, Cruz seemed to preemptively attack criticism that he was derelict in his duty by jaunting off to Greece on vacation rather than staying home to monitor his state. Take a look.
I will say, in the wake of every tragedy, there are things that are predictable. One of the things that's predictable is that you see some people engaging in, I think, partisan games and trying to blame their political opponents for a natural disaster. And you see that with a hurricane, with a tornado, with a wildfire, with this flooding, where people immediately say, well, the hurricane is Donald Trump's fault. Look, I think most normal Americans know that's ridiculous, and I think this is not a time for partisan finger-pointing and attacks. Now, after we come through search and rescue, after we come through the process of rebuilding, there will naturally be a period of retrospection where you look back and say, okay, what exactly transpired? What was the timeline? And what could have been done differently to prevent this loss of life? And
keep in mind, this is the same senator that blamed Gavin Newsom 6 months ago for the response to the California wildfires. Thankfully, only 30 people died in that tragedy thanks to a strong warning system. I wish Texas had one just as effective. But I digress. Cruz assured reporters yesterday that he came back to the U.S. just as soon as he could. This despite knowing the storms were coming before he left and learning of the flooding immediately upon his arrival in Greece. For more on all that, see our other videos here on the channel. Today, however, the story has taken a new turn as it turns out Cruz has not been totally honest about his options to return home. The Daily Beast now reports that journalists Jasmine Vinay and Farah Tomazine have conducted comprehensive analyses of flight data from over the weekend. Though Cruz claimed he couldn't get a flight back before Sunday, a review of options reveals that's not true. In fact, he passed up multiple flights that would have taken him from Athens directly to San Antonio. And to think, he could have gotten a direct flight, and even that wasn't good enough for him to go home during this tragedy. He still needed to stay in Greece, hanging out and enjoying the nice weather, the same way he had to rush off to Cancun 4 years ago when winter storms left millions of Texans without power or water. So I ask you, where are this man's priorities? Are they with the people of Texas? Or are they with his billionaire donors that want him to cut their taxes and rob from the nation's social programs that give millions to his state in healthcare? Because if you're wondering, Cruz also did just that before leaving for Greece. He voted for the budget abomination that amounts to the largest transfer of wealth to the super wealthy in American history, and he patted himself on the back for it by going to Greece. Which again begs the question, why do Texans vote for this narcissistic showboat? Why? They could have had Beto O'Rourke, and you can bet that he would have been out there in a life jacket with the rescue crews. But never mind. Cruz's behavior is just as emblematic of the Republican Party in the Trump era. These are people who hoard and steal as much as they can for themselves and try to screw everyone else. And if that wasn't bad enough, they mock the people caught in the wake of their cruelty. The people of the United States, including the people of Texas, deserve so much better. Remember the so-called poop cruise? A Carnival cruise ship that lost power and had all its toilets flood with sewage for days? Yeah, somehow that kind of cruise is still more appealing than Ted Cruz. This is Occupy Democrats.